troubles in your bowl. Keep like a smile, smile, smile. Wine you the Lucifer to light.
The full horror of the First World War descended on Guildford on the night of October the 13th, 1915, when 5 L-13 Zeppelin airships crossed the North Sea with the intention of bombing London. In charge of this important mission was one of the German Naval Air Service's most daring commanders, Kapitänleutnant Heinrich Matti. Navigating Zeppelins at night was very primitive and inaccurate in those days, and as they flew menacingly towards their target, they became lost. Matty's intended target was the Hampton Waterworks to the west of the metropolis, but he soon realised he was off course when he eventually flew over the village of Gomshall from the northeast. Telephone switchboards were very busy that night, and inquiries were coming through from places like Oxford and Reading asking the whereabouts of the Zeppelin. The cigar-shaped L-13 Zeppelin was first spotted over Newlands Corner just after 10 p.m. and within a few minutes was seen circling over the town at a height of about 400 feet, an altitude low enough for one observer to claim that he could see faces of the crew at the airship's windows. Guildford residents were out on the street looking heavenwards as the Zeppelin, sounding like a buzzing blue bottle, hovered threateningly over the town centre. One panic-stricken resident was seen climbing a gas street lamp in an effort to extinguish it, in the vain hope to darken the streets so they couldn't be seen by the Zeppelin's crew. The airship continued to go round in circles and finally dropped its first bomb over the Portsmouth Road, quickly followed by 2 more over the village of St Catherine's, leaving craters 10 feet across and 4 feet deep. Bombs 3 and 4 were dropped on Chestnut Avenue. The 5th bomb landed next to the Anchor and Hope public house, startling the landlord's wife in the process. The London to Portsmouth railway line caught the blast of the 6th bomb, and 17 chickens roosting in their henhouse were killed by the 7th. To say that houses shook to their foundations as this reign of terror continued was putting it mildly. Indeed, it seemed as though the buildings were about to come crashing down around their terrified occupants. The 8th bomb landed 50 yards away and brought down a 20-foot wall near the golf course in Shalford Park. Bombs 9 and 10 fell into the River Wey, breaking telephone wires and killing a swan. Providence must have been watching over Guildford that night, because records show that not a single life was lost and no person suffered the slightest injury. Other places were not so lucky. 2 of the Zeppelins did drop bombs on or near London, causing 71 deaths and injuring 128 people. Heinrich Matty's luck ran out the following year when his airship was brought down by a British fighter over Potter's Bar in Hertfordshire. His body and those of his crew were buried in a new cemetery at Cannock Chase, which had been specially constructed for the burial of all Germans killed on British soil.